Chill here with Sirius Talis Moon. So basically, as I was saying in previous episode, during the subprime crisis, I worked at Heide Company and I worked at um, another company for cosmetics where I was doing their website, the basically the internet marketing, um, building the website, refining the website, and I had to beg for money for my bus ticket because the company at the airport city, Shimkotek Ludan, um, had the buses up until the airport city because that was the company we had a contract with. But from the segment between somewhere midway into the airport city, I had to take a bus, and I actually had to beg for money for that bus ticket to get to work. Where I would no longer see that money because it went down with the subprime crisis. Apparently, what I was making, and there is nothing that justifies that, particularly when I wasn't drinking, I'm not smoking, and I don't take drugs. So there would literally be nothing that would cause that other than the fact that the entire market sector was corrupt, and because I did not agree to participate in trafficking on either side, then I could not sustain me and my mom. If I was a single mother, I would have more expenses than living with an adult person that doesn't need to change diapers, that doesn't smoke, that doesn't drink. So imagine what happened to people that were raped and trafficked and they were addicted to drugs. And why am I telling this story? Because, of course, I prefer to be a beggar in the street than be trafficked. All the excuses that people have, and if God forbid the children involved, it's better to kill the child because the child will just be parentified and traumatized. And eventually will be trafficked. Children that grow like that are way more susceptible to being trafficked, to being raped as children. And if he wouldn't have a way out, then he will have to become trafficker like Mark Dutroux. In a rapey economy, work doesn't work, which is what happened in the subprime. The people that think to invest in Section 8 should take that into account because people don't actually get to live in Section 8. And when those people are targeted by energy weapon, raped and trafficked, make a mess out of the house until people will have to sell the property, then they blame the tenants. Oh, I need the company to check the tenants. You don't need the company to check the company. You need to check why you invest in Section 8. When it's only 9 months and a person, what would they do after 9 months? They have trauma of homelessness. Homelessness is a result of Epstein dark occult rape child trafficking ring. No, because I still get this Section 8 advertisement. As Israelis get, oh, you can get a yield from the US government for Section 8. No, we do not. And this is why I said a love that's actually loving is purging all of those excuses to traffic people. All that energy could be used well better to besiege the temples and the places and the businesses of those who are known to siphon energy of people through ritual abuse. People love to look down on the people that they see without taking a moment to consider that they have been causing the problem and enabling the problem. All the while blaming it on the life choices of those who said no to Epstein ring. And this is exactly what we see happening today. The people that did not prevent violence, whether they were policing forces or whatnot, their authorities will no longer be respected. And not by the people just, by those who sent them. They would be disowned because it's extortion called logic. Yeah, that's life. Um, 444. Let's do 555. If this is 444, then let's do 555. Well, what is the good news? And the good news is definitely that we are purging those things that were laying dormant or were swiped under the rug or being ignored. People will no longer look like saviors or redeemers when they are traffickers and looters. And the people that had to rely on people being stupid or ignorant or traumatized too, um, they will have to meet the fate of the woman. Okay, because they were, when they were subjugating, they were considering whether it's man or woman, the subjugated as the feminine. So they will have to meet the fate of the feminine in their society. Dissolve like the water evaporates from the earth. Because in society where that was the fate of the woman, the society meets the fate of the woman. People cannot abolish usury and all those things that they correctly point the finger at with rape-based societies. It's also, without shame and blame, invitation for people to look at where they have been internalizing those doctrines. For example, when people say something like, yeah, for example, when I said, oh, I'd rather work in a simple job and not with corrupt industry, but those simple jobs were also corrupt. Okay, but in fact, or I'd rather live in a simple place and not have to do all these things. Well, but they want people to do all these things even for a simple place. Marc Dutroix's estate were public houses, not Côte d'Azur. Maybe he would travel to Côte d'Azur, but his actual estate, what he was registered, were public houses. Pointing to the fact that, yes, I don't think I meant to live in Côte d'Azur, but It's a nice place, but but I don't think my chart is pointing to that. The I am sense of self is also but a sign of real estate and natural resources for each individual, which also tells me they cannot loot land without rapey structure that starts from within society. Palestinians could not have been looted if they weren't still raping and enslaving their own. And the fact that the Israelis are also raping and enslaving their own doesn't yield Eretz Israel Shlema. More likely exile, Holocaust, and genocide. Within the promised land, yes. But again, if people wanted to escape that, would they have a place to go to? If they don't, what does it tell about the entire world?